high-speed rail could get the green light in Britain in a few hours' time. The government is set to decide on a £32 billion project to modernize the nation's transport infrastructure. But not everybody is getting on board with the plans. Joining us for more is Bloomberg's Olivia Sterns. Olivia, just take us through the economic arguments for and against the so-called HS2 that's going to connect London with Birmingham, right?
That's right, Linz. You know, it's interesting because normally big infrastructure projects like this get the broad-based support of business. But in this case, industry groups are lobbying, you could say, on both sides of the tracks. Supporters say the new rail line would be a crucial source of stimulus, but opponents say that money really should be better spent. Now, the HS2 would undeniably update Britain's aging rail network and ease overcrowding. It would also provide a new artery for commerce between London and the north, as you say. Now, the government says it would cost up to £32 billion to build and would produce £44 billion in return benefits. But not everyone's convinced. From green groups to the Taxpayers Alliance, many argue HS2 just doesn't make business sense.
The government will end up writing off the capital costs at huge expense to taxpayers, and neither will it bring wider economic benefits. There's a very tenuous relationship between these kind of transport improvements and regeneration and jobs and so on.
Now, in its first phase, the new line would connect London with Birmingham. It would cut the 100-mile journey down to just a 49-minute trip. From Birmingham, the route would then split, running either up to Manchester or Leeds, both manufacturing centres. Now, critics contend the projected benefits are based on flawed assumptions, though. They say those faster journey times don't actually generate that much savings. Linz?
So, Olivia, it's been criticized for being too expensive, but how does it stack up compared to other infrastructure projects?
Well, if it goes ahead, this new train line would be more than twice what the government has ever spent on a single project. HSN, as I said, is projected to cost £32 billion. Till now, Crossrail, that's the line that connects Heathrow to the city, that's been the most expensive project at about £14.5 billion. Linz?
And, Olivia, why have things taken such a long time in terms of the high-speed rail sector in Britain? Why is it so far behind seemingly the rest of the countries in Europe?
Well, it's interesting. You know, countries like Japan and France, they have a long history of success with high-speed rail, right? And we keep hearing about China's big plans for thousands of miles of high-speed rail track. But high-speed is actually much cheaper to build there and also on the continent, in large part simply because Britain is much more densely populated. So to build these lines, you've got to go through a fair amount of demolishing and cutting through some very expensive land. And you know, Linz, I just want to also say it's not actually a success everywhere. Just take it, for example, Holland. They've got a 2-year-old high-speed rail line there, and already the government's had to give it a bailout. So very controversial, and we'll get word from the government in just under 3 hours' time. Linz?